Okay, PlayStation officially shuts down Concord, goes offline, and refunds all customers. I will give PlayStation points. If something goes horribly wrong, they will refund. This happened with that Cyberpunk game that came out. They offered refunds and took it off their store, and that wasn't even their game.
Yeah.
But here we are. Concord officially shut down. Let me go ahead and read from this.
Mm-hmm.
PlayStation officially shuts down Concord. It's official. We have triumphed. Oh, this is from Smash JT. So this is the comments of Smash JT do not necessarily represent the comments of the Geeky Geezers. And Troy's about to say it does mine.
I was just going to say, yeah, probably it does mine, but
Okay.
you know.
But we'll read from his thing. It's official. We have triumphed in a way, and honestly, no one could have seen coming. And Sony, along with Fireworks Studios, has hopefully learned a valuable lesson in what's shaping up to be one of the most unprecedented flops in gaming history. Concord has been pulled offline and will no longer be sold, with refunds being offered to everyone who purchased the game, with losses reportedly sowing well over $200 million. This has become a historical disaster in the video game industry. Following a launch that was met with widespread criticism and disappointment, developers behind Concord have issued an apology to the community. Concord fans, we've been listening closely to your feedback since the launch of PlayStation 5 and PC and want to thank everyone who has joined the journey aboard at the North Star. But despite their thanks, the reality is clear. The game's initial release didn't land that way as they had hoped. As a result, Concord will be taking offline starting September 6th. 2024, while developers explore options for the game's future, cost of failure, and unprecedented refund policy. The announcement of Concord going offline is accompanied by a significant move, and one that I can't recall ever happening before. It did happen before. It happened with Cyberpunk, Smash JT. It wasn't Sony's game, but they were very angry about how that was released, and they offered you the option of getting a refund. That's what they did, and they took it off their store. Players who bought the game via PlayStation 2 or PlayStation Direct will see refunds returned to their original payment methods within 36 days. Oh, in this case, they're just doing it automatically.
Yeah.
So that didn't happen originally. Refunds will also be available through Steam and Epic Games Store, and customers who purchase physical copies will need to follow the refund procedures at the respective retailers. So you can just bring your physical game to the retailer, Zed. I want my money back.
And I'll tell you,
doesn't matter if it's unwrapped.
Well, right. I will tell you this. We always give the disclaimer. We don't give financial advice, investment advice, blah, blah, blah. But one thing I will tell you, you really should consider, don't ever pre-order games ever. Don't do it. It's not worth it. You don't get any benefit from it. And
pre-order bonus.
You're likely to lose out in some way, shape, or form.
And
what's going to end up happening is you get
skin.
it. Oh no, you get to play it before anybody else, but it's broken and you can't play it until we do the first patch. So in other words, there's no benefit to having prepaid.
I would argue that companies that have good reputations, you can, if you really want the game on day one. Like Nintendo usually does good. To be fair, Sony, at least I'm not even a huge Sony fan, but usually the Sony fans are usually happy with the
good
product.
Point there.
Maybe that's why Sony is afraid, because they're like, people pre-ordered this and it turned out to be a lemon, so we got a refund.
If you have a good reputation, okay, just don't lose that reputation, because once it's lost, you're effed.
I give them credit though for doing this though. They did recognize that, okay, this was a screw up. I think,
although I do feel like it's the right thing to do. I mean, we're kind of applauding them for doing what should be expected. I got handed a bill of goods. I'm getting my money back. I shouldn't have to, hold this up as some kind of big, wonderful thing. Concord's game's biggest problem is it's an inferior knockoff of Overwatch and should have been free to play. That's not wrong. And Matanui makes an interesting point. So most of the money goes to the publishers, I think. And he gives the qualification. He's not positive about that. He's more or less speculating. Yeah, perhaps.
I mean, Sony is the publisher in this case, though, right?
I actually don't know. I had not heard about this Concord, and apparently a lot of.
You should have. It was on Steam. You could have bought it. You're part of the problem.
Yeah, well, it's my fault because I didn't know about this thing or care about it. Right?
No, it's your fault. You're a look at that. Look at that.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is not how you respond. Like I saw that apology letter in the Smash JD thing, and then one of the developers stuck this up on there.
Yeah.
You can read this on the Steam page. Are you happy? Are you satisfied? Does your day feel a little bit better knowing that a great developer comprised of hardworking folks is going to likely be shut down over this? I want to say something. I've had development studios that I loved get shut down for dumb reasons.
Yeah.
Factor 5, the makers of a lot of great Lucasfilm games like Star Wars Rogue One, and that series, they went under, and they were a great development team. And I think they made one mistake in a game. I think it was a PS3 launch game that didn't turn out so well, where you run a dragon. They didn't do what they normally did, which would usually be a Star Wars game, but they went under, and I'm like, no one seems to cry over them, but now I'm supposed to cry over this.
And here's the other thing too. There are tons of companies where hardworking people lose their jobs all the time because higher ups are morons that make bad decisions, bad business decisions, and destroy their business model. Bud Light, anybody? I'm sure there are people working in breweries and certainly in distribution that were hardworking, good people, and they're all out of work because some moron decided, let's go all in on this.
I hope one enterprising young brewer decides, I'm going to come up with my own beer. Why don't you all go work for me?
You know what? All of the other beer companies started picking up the slack. Everyone else's businesses improved when they started to lose market share. So yeah, you can. This is what happens. Your company goes bankrupt. You go work for another company. If someone says to you, "Well, you can't work for our competition. You signed a non-compete." Yeah, take me to court. Those don't hold up in court.
Yeah,
I have a right to work.
I think they did two wrong things. Number one, they made another arena death match. They made characters no one wanted with abilities that were hard to use or understand. They wanted to spread a woke message. Yeah, Smash JT goes on to mention DEI agenda. I think too the main thing though is that it's too much like other games of this type, of which there's already a dedicated base for. It's funny. I think I had Asmongold on earlier, and he was doing a rewatch of some other YouTuber where he was showing how he would change the character designs. Mm-hmm. And all of these hideous characters, he now made them attractive characters that you would want to play as. And it's not even just how they look, like the characters themselves look. He also changed their outfits. Like he said, like, look at this young lady with the big shoulders. Well, you can do that, but then you have to undercut the actual jacket to make it shorter, to make up for the fact. And he's right. Aesthetically, it looked fine, even though it had the bigger shoulders, because he did something underneath. And that's who they should be hiring over at the studio. And the studio still exists.
One thing that Smash JT, of course, is reporting this right. He's focusing on the actual problems with the game.
Yes.
But if you want to, respond to the, istophobe bull crap, there's only two possibilities, right? One is that all of your clientele, every person that could possibly be interested in your game is an istophobe, in which case get out of the business if you don't want to sell to them.
Yeah, don't yell at your own customer base and start calling gamers and istophobes, because the istophobes didn't buy my game.
If you want to be profitable and you don't want to sell to, if you think 99% of your clientele is these bad people, then you need to just go out of business, because that is your business. The other option is that these istophobes are a small minority. Where the hell are all of your people that aren't istophobes in your mind? Why didn't they buy your game?
Look,
it doesn't hold up.
I was making a mental note that it's like in the old days, if you criticize whatever crappy pop culture thing out now, you were an istophobe. Now, if you just don't buy it or give it the money, now you're also an istophobe. They're making up new. They fail and they keep blaming everyone but themselves.
The important thing to remember, though, for all of us is if you are the target of them calling you names, you have to care as little about that as you did about the game that you didn't buy. and just say screw it and don't give them.
Yeah, I think that's where people are. It's not even about getting angry. I think it's just apathetic. I'll just walk away. I can do other things.
Well, why do you not cry wolf unless there's a wolf? Yeah. Because eventually there'll be a wolf and no one's going to believe you. Same thing here. Oh, it's the faux blah 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 whatever. Okay, you know, I'm a National Socialist too, right? Okay, that means nothing anymore. Those words no longer have any meaning.
Yeah. Where's this modern audience? It's a myth that doesn't exist. Yeah. People just want to play good games. And the guy making a point when he's changing the character designs, no one cares if your cast is diverse. They just care if the characters are cool and compelling. That's what the problem was.